What's up, guys? A lot of you guys wanted to see more strategy, so here we are. We did a strategy review session with the community. Hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Let's get right into it. I'm worried about sizing preflop. Okay, let's just go over it. So we're playing 30 bigs deep here, right? 30 something. And you see a limp, and a volt, and a raise. And I also might have bet too much on the flop. It's a hyper KO. So, as a default here, as a rule of thumb, you want to go here like 3x, normally. You want to go 3x plus 1x per limper. So I would go here towards like 400k. Yeah, we can make it bigger. We can make it bigger, 100%. I would go like, 3x plus 1x per limper. So 400k, something like that's going to be fine. So let's say this guy would have limped as well. We would have made it 3x. That's 150k plus 1 plus 1 plus 100k. Would be 250k. So let's say this guy would have limped, we would have raised to like 250k. Maybe want to do even more. 250 to 300k. Would be fine if this was a limp, but it's a raise. So it would go more to the 400k is sizing. See a fold, see a call. There's a bounty on the line as well. So especially with the bounty, just want to make it even bigger because they know you are incentivized to raise even wider. So we want to go, I mean, if you made it 450k, I would have even found it fine. And now this guy's probably just going to call. Indeed, he does. Now there's 700k in the pot. I'm not sure if this includes this sizing. No, it doesn't. So it's going to be 900k in the pot in total. I would bet small here. I think keeps the range wide. We bet 449k. So we bet like half pot. Not really a big fan of that. Because half pot's literally going to accomplish the same thing as 1/3. You know? Well, I mean, like, very often, we don't want to use half pot sizing very often. Let me go there. We don't want to use half pot sizings very often. I would either go really big here or really small. I prefer going small here, and the reason why is because I'm fine with keeping his range wide. I'm fine if he's going to stick around with ace-10 or ace-9. That's why I do not want to go towards a big sizing here, because I'm fine keeping his range wide here. If he were deeper, if he were really deep, then going big here is what I probably prefer, but because we are so short, betting small and leaving a pot size bet on the turn is probably the way to go here. And this half pot size bet is just doesn't really accomplish much more. Also with our bluffs, so all we do is basically give ourselves a worse risk-reward ratio. So I would personally go small here, 1/3, maybe even smaller. Keep his range wide, maybe incentivize him to punt a bit. And right now, we put him in a really nasty spot with like, I mean, ace-10, ace-9 is all going to fold. And it's like king-queen is probably going to fold as well. Even queen-10, I mean, it's probably going to have to call, but they're definitely not loving it. So we definitely want to go smaller here. We do get called. Turns an 8. He shouldn't have too many 8x in his range. Other than ace-8 suited. I mean, I guess 9-8 suited and stuff is calling as well. But I don't think that's always raising pre. Like, it's not always isolating. So I would just... I'm actually fine with checking as well, putting some really strong hands in our checking range. We also block the clubs. So if you do want to be balancing it, I mean, I think it's fine. And we give him a chance to turn hands like 10-9, a queen-10, a queen-9 suited into a bluff. So I'm fine checking here. Jamie is completely fine too. I would prefer to see check though. I expect to have him an 8 here. The reason why is because his hand got shared. Unlucky, man. Yeah, this, I would probably size it down on the flop. I mean, bigger pre, smaller flop, probably check turn. But yeah, it's fine. Any questions about that hand, Dimmer? Makes sense to give him some room to punt a bit. Yeah, exactly. Just keep his range wide. Yep. Always ask yourself, when you want to choose a sizing, what are we trying to accomplish? What are we targeting? What are we trying to achieve, you know? So here with the ace-5 suited. First, let's read what Senna had to say about the hand. On the flop, in my opinion, we could have a bet to extract value from Queen X, flush draws, King X, Jack X, but they could have a lot better Ace X hands, and my hand is good as bluff catcher. On the turn, I have to call once, but I think on the river he never raises an ace, and afraid of me having Queen X, so when he raises the river, I fold. What do you think about it? Well, let's find out. So we see an open and we 3-bet. Ace-5 suited, always a very nice hand to 3-bet here. Get cold called by Fumigas, which will be generally speaking, a really strong range. 2-0, there's always a fairly big random factor in there as well, though. And under the gun calls to see a check and see another check. This flop absolutely smashes both ranges. We're raising a really strong range here under the gun, which will be really Broadway heavy. Femi guess when he calls here, when he flat calls here, it's also going to be really strong. Like, I don't think he's going to flat call a 3-bet with like 7s, 8s, and 9s, right? Plus, if he does have those hands, we're not going to get called by them if you're going to c-bet here. Plus, our hand will always be a bluff catch, so we're never going to have 3 streets of value here unless the turn and the river are going to be a 5. You know what I mean? I guess when the turn is 5 and river breaks, probably still 3 streets, but other than there not being a 5 on the turn or an ace, we're not going to have 3 streets of failure. So this is definitely a spot where we want to try to keep the pot small. And like I said, this is smashing their ranges. So yes, I like the flop check. Check. See betting on the turn. Tough spot. It's tough for him to bet too many worse hands. He would have to bet some hearts, but a lot of his hearts are beating us. Right? He's not opening King 10 offsuit or Jack 10 offsuit, stuff like that. I doubt he's betting hands like Jack 10 suited and King 10 suited. If he's betting here, he's very often betting a better ace-6. I don't even think he's betting ace-9, ace-8 type of hands. He's gonna have loads of queen X, king queens, king queen suited, queen jack suited, queen 10 suited. He's gonna have 10s as well. I don't think he has ace-king, but could have ace-jack. And also a lot of his hard combinations are gonna be like what? Is king 9 suited calling a 3-bet? Maybe with the cold cut in there. In 2-0, it's possible, I guess. 9-8 of hearts. I don't know if that's always betting here, especially 3 ways against a really strong range here, which is still gonna have loads of a6 and queen x and 10s. In all honesty, I would not mind to fold here the ace-5 3 ways, because there's still a player behind who still has a lot of hands that beat us. I think you are gonna call though, but I wouldn't mind to fold, in all honesty. We see a bet here on the river, and do I think he's gonna bluff enough here? Is 9-8 of hearts and 8-7 of hearts, or Jack 9 of hearts? I don't think so, and I think it would also. I just don't think so. What do you guys think, chat? What do you guys think? Fold on the turn, I guess. At best, you're probably chopping. I think I would prefer folding here as well. Don't think there's any bluffs. Doesn't bluff enough on the river. Yeah, I think we can already fold on the turn. Can just take perceived range and check the minimum defense, but at first glance I would fold the river. Would you already fold the turn? Happy? Because I would fold the turn. I think turn folds is going to be optimal. I think it's going to be extremely thin to call here. And also, if he does have those hard hands, it's also very likely he's going to continue on the river. He's going to have hands like King Jack suited, a lot of Queen X, better A6, 10s. I think I like the fold on the turn, in all honesty. As play, I would probably just fold the river. We are still going to have Ace King. Ace Queen, we're probably betting on the flop. We're still going to have aces. We're still going to have queens. King Jack, we probably see betting the flop. We're still going to have King Queen suited, I guess. Not too sure about guess game ranges, but I don't know if you have 3 with King Queen suited here or King Queen offsuit, or either. But to be honest, I don't mind. A fold is just a shit spot, so not much to gain. Yeah, and there's a player behind, so I would like to fold the turn. Get a hand from ace here. It doesn't look too bad. It's whatever. We see a 10 big blind jam under the gun and decide to just call pre, as I think ace queen suited plays really well, and we have only recreation sitting behind. We get called from button and small blind, which I don't like, and we flop decent. However, I never like c-betting into 2 people, so I went for the check, but I think the benefit of c-betting here is that we can get it on turn, get it in on turns and rivers, and we are not doing too bad if we get jammed on either. So I bet a bit less than half pot on the turn, but we got the rest. But on the river I decided to jam. I'm not sure if I should not go for thin value here, aiming at worst Queen X, Jack X. And otherwise with the jam I think I'm value towning myself versus 2 pairs instead, but overall I put myself in a weird spot on each street. Okay, how can I stop this though? Can I do this? Stop. If I click on this, it's gonna go one action. Oh, sweet. So I always feel like this is bugged. Okay, so we see a shove here. 10 bigs. Ace calls with 48k. Yeah, I think calling is gonna be fine. I think isolating is a little bit awkward with the stack size because we don't really want. I mean, I guess we could raise to like 15k. I mean, 12k and fall to a gem. I think that would be completely fine, but I think calling is fine too. This replayer is scuffed? Yeah, it is. I always use a static replay, but I guess on stream it's going to be better to use a replayer. So we see a call and a call from the button in the small blind. And the flop comes Jack 8 deuce. Yeah, Ace, I think I would just go here for a bet. I think it's nice if we get hands like King Queen, King 10, suited stuff like that to fold, Ace 10. We're going to be doing finding as a get it in range. I guess GTO. It's a check. But I'm fine just betting it and just fast playing it. Because we do deny, like, we have 3 ways here. I would not be surprised if small blind has hands here like 7s. Or 6s. Yeah, I would be fine with isolating ace queen suited. Like, I never really, I'm not too sure about those spots. What would you guys do, chat? In this spot, pre-flop, we see a shove with 10 bigs, and we have 90. And we, you know, there are a lot of big stacks behind. Would you guys prefer to see an isolation? Or would you guys just call with the ace queen suited here? I think both are fine too, but in hindsight, isolating does have a lot of upsides too, especially with my argument that we have recreational sitting behind. That's actually good that you mentioned that, Ace. It's actually the other way around. Because there are so many recreations sitting behind, the EV of flatting actually goes up. Because they're going to make a lot of mistakes post-flop. I never studied it either, but I would call my entire range there. Yeah, I think like both are going to be fine. Like, I think if you're going to raise a really strong range, it's going to be fine. I think if you're going to call here with your aces and stuff, it's going to be fine too. I'm not really sure what's going to be the highest EV. Oh, I think it's a little bit nitpicking. What sizing we picking when isolating here? I would just go min. Or a little bit more than min. Because if we make it bigger, there's not too much reason to. We're gonna accomplish the same thing. Like whether we raise it to 15k or 10k, it's gonna do the same thing. We are just trying to deny equity behind. Like we benefit so much from taking it heads up with like 9s and 8s and 10s and, you know? And if we do it, we just call our obvious value. I don't mind that either. I think both are going to be fine. I'm not sure what's actually going to be better. I think it depends on your table. I think if you have a tough table, I prefer isolating. I think if you have a lot of recreational sitting behind, you definitely want to call. And yeah, on this flop, I would just fast play it. And deny a lot of equities. The small, yeah, I would just bet here and fast play it. Once it goes check, I would definitely bet here the turn, and I would just make it small, just bet one. I mean, I think they're calling any sizing. I mean, ace 9, ace 10 may call though if you make it smaller. Once again, king 10. And you know, there are not too many bad rivers because we block hearts too. So I would probably just make it. We bet 8k, like 8, 9k minimum. So we leave a pot-sized bet on the river. Probably what I would do. 11k seems fine too. And then we just jam the river here. Because you're still going to have a lot of, you know, king, queen. Man, I would not even be surprised if it's queen 10. Like, I think queen jack would very often bet the flop. I guess he could have some slow played 8s and jacks. But not too often. I guess we're going to see queen 10, queen 9 suited even sometimes. It's a rare spot anyway, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm fine with jamming. Like, the reason why I prefer jamming over checking is because we block all his bluffs. At least a big portion of his bluffs. And we can still get called by quite some worse hands. How many streets can you get there? I would just make this it's a 2-street hand, Philippe. Because we've got a 2 SPR. So basically, if you're gonna bet like 1/3 and they call, we're gonna have a pastas bet left. So I would just bet flop, jam turn. Yeah, I'm not sure why we would check. I think Maestro is arguing we want to check because we have to beat under the gun anyway. You know, if they both fold, we still have to beat under the gun. But I wouldn't be like, I would check with my bluffs. I wouldn't bet here like ace king. You know, I think when we're gonna bet, if we're gonna bet if 3 ways, then guess what? It's pretty nutted, you know? We're not being exploitative or fucking anything here. If you bet on this flop, you're only gonna have semi bluffs and value, you know? Check call anyway, even at a jack. I think very often if the turn's gonna be a jack, Philippe, and they have a jack, I think very often it's gonna go check check. Yeah, I mean, like I guess you can check your aces, kings, and queens. And ace, queen of hearts, those hands are definitely that you know, are supposed to put in your checking range then. Whereas king, queen of hearts and stuff, and your weaker a6 are probably more inclined to bet because we can get better a6 to fold. But I think multi-way in those situations, I would just play it really straightforward. I also think this is in a lower stakes tournament, so I wouldn't be too worried about that and just play straightforward and go for value. So open it up here with the 6s. We give 3-bet. We're gonna call, of course, playing 2 and big blinds deep. Check. I don't like the sizing. On the flop, I decided to bet to extract value from his ace highs and flush draws. The thing is with this hand, so now we're always gonna have a bluff catcher. They're gonna be this hand is so tough to play on turns. On any high card, ace, king, jack, 10, we're basically fucking ourselves. And we're gonna have a bloated pot. I think this is... And we block diamonds even. I would just bet small here. I think. Try to get his heir to fold. Get his king nines and, you know, stuff like that to fold. Jack 9 of hearts. Jack 10 of hearts. I don't think I like this sizing. It's not like we have that big of a range advantage here or anything. He is actually gonna have a stronger range. Unless you start calling your aces and kings and stuff as well. So I don't really like the sizing, I don't think. You guys like the sizing? Chat? What do you think about the sizing? Yeah, I think if you want to bet, I would just bet it small. We're just trying to deny equity. You know, we're not trying to get pairs to fold or anything like that. And here we go. He's going to check, and we're going to have to check. It's a turn that's going to hit his range quite hard. Also, what are we trying to accomplish with this sizing? Half pot. We, you know... what are we doing here? Are we targeting his heir? Then we're only giving ourselves a worse risk-reward ratio. Are we targeting pairs? Then it's too small. I wanted to make a full Sims 8s, 9s. Then I guess the smaller sizing will do as well. You know? I think it's going to be way too thin here. I think this is a turn where Villain will be picking up quite some equity very often. Pairing up with his floated diamonds, with floaters backdoor spades. He's still going to have, you know, Queen X. I think it's just a give up on the turn. Not a fan of the play. I would bet small on the flop to deny equity. I would check the turn. Give up river. I think I'm going to do this more often, by the way, study sessions. So if you guys, you know, have interesting hands, just save them. Try to, you know, think for yourself what you would like to do. And then next week, we're going to be just all prepared and stuff. I think we're just going to make this a weekly thing. And then we're going to get you guys in the voice lounge as well, so we can discuss things. You know what I mean? We're going to build on top of that. Hey, says this is a 45-minute sit ago, and we just got in the money. We see a limp from early position and the struggle with what Hold'em Resource Calculator is trying to tell me here with the percentages. I don't think people will ever have a balanced limping range here. And this may be a flawed thought process, but I think this is almost always going to be a trap here. And first that I should actually fall, but what would you guys think a balanced range looks like? So we see a limp. We're playing 18 bigs. I would just jam. I don't see any reason. Like ace king offsuit, I would just jam instead of playing out of position. I think his calling range over jam is going to be almost identical to when you raise to like 2.5k, 2.6k here. You know what I mean? I would just jam. I would not even think about it. I would just jam your obvious value hands. I mean, I would jam all my suited a6 probably. Also, I would jam you like 20%. But it's a jam, but if I start to only give him traps, it's a fault. Yeah, I don't think people will only be trapping here, guys. I think you're going to see a lot of like random stuff here as well. Suited connectors, suited gappers, stuff like that. Now, of course, he has a trap. Yeah. Plus, we even block so many of his traps. We block aces, we block kings, we block ace king. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Any feedback is, of course, really appreciated. And I'm looking forward to see you guys in the next video and the next community study session.